The city of New York never truly slept. Even before sunrise, the streets were alive with luxury cars, flashing lights, and people chasing another successful day. Standing above everything was the headquarters of Smith Motors, one of the world's most powerful luxury car companies. The glass skyscraper reflected the morning sunlight like a giant mirror, a symbol of wealth, power, and absolute control. Inside the top floor, every employee lowered their voice. Every assistant walked carefully. Everyone knew one thing: Lucas Smith had arrived. The large elevator doors opened slowly. A tall man stepped out, wearing a perfectly tailored black suit. His expensive watch caught the morning light. His dark eyes remained cold. His expression never changed. Lucas Smith, 32 years old, CEO of Smith Motors, one of the youngest billionaires in America, a man respected by the business world and feared by everyone who worked for him. He walked through the hallway without saying a word. Every employee immediately stood up. "Good morning, Mr. Smith." Lucas gave only a small nod before continuing toward his office. His assistant hurried after him. "Sir, today's schedule is completely full. The board meeting starts in 20 minutes. The investors from Germany arrive at noon. You also have dinner with the shareholders tonight." Lucas kept walking. "Cancel dinner." "But sir," "I said cancel it." "Yes, Mr. Smith." His office occupied the entire top floor. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the entire city. Luxury furniture, black marble floors, modern art worth millions. Everything reflected the life of a man who had everything, except peace. Lucas walked toward the window and quietly looked at the city below. Sometimes, even silence carried painful memories. Gentle knock interrupted his thoughts. "Come in." The door opened. A young man walked inside with an easy smile. "You're already terrifying your employees this early in the morning." Lucas didn't even turn around. "I see you're late again." The young man laughed. "What can I say? Life is too short to wake up early." This was William Smith, Lucas's younger brother. Completely different from him. Where Lucas was calm, William was reckless. Where Lucas thought before acting, William acted before thinking. He loved fast cars, late-night parties, and dangerous decisions. Lucas finally looked at him. "You crashed another car." William smiled innocently. "It wasn't my fault." Lucas crossed his arms. "The police report says you were driving at 220 kilometers per hour. William sighed dramatically. "They always exaggerate." Lucas stared at him for a few seconds before shaking his head. "One day your luck will run out." William leaned against the desk. "Maybe." Then his smile slowly disappeared. "You haven't slept again, have you?" Silence. Lucas looked away. "I sleep enough. 3 hours isn't enough." Lucas ignored him. William knew there was only one subject his brother never wanted to discuss: their mother. Even after all these years, her death still haunted Lucas. He had built an empire, earned billions, became one of the most powerful businessmen in the country, but no success had erased the pain inside him. A soft knock came from the door again. This time it was Amelia. Smith, elegant, graceful, always calm. Unlike her brothers, Amelia rarely raised her voice. She smiled warmly. "You two are arguing again." William grinned. "He started it." Lucas sighed. "How old are you?" 28? Then start acting like it." William laughed. Amelia walked toward the large window beside Lucas. "The board members are waiting." Lucas adjusted his jacket. "It's time." Without another word, he walked out of the office. Behind him, William exchanged a quick glance with Amelia. Both of them knew something. Lucas had changed over the past few months. He had become colder. more distant, as if he were waiting for something, or someone. Neither of them knew. That fate had already begun moving the pieces of a game that would change all their lives forever. Lucas entered the conference room with the same calm expression that never revealed what he was thinking. The room immediately fell silent. More than 20 board members were already waiting. No one dared to speak before him. Lucas sat at the head of the long black table. Let's begin. Large screen lit up behind him, displaying the company's latest financial reports. Our profits have increased by 18% this quarter. One executive announced proudly. Lucas remained expressionless. 18% isn't enough. The room went silent. The executive swallowed nervously. But, Mr. Smith, that's the highest growth in the industry. Lucas closed the file in front of him. I don't compete with the industry. He looked around the table. I compete with perfection. No one argued. Everyone knew Lucas Smith accepted nothing less than the best. The meeting continued for nearly 2 hours. Every decision he made was precise. Every word carried authority. By the time the meeting ended, the board members left the room exhausted. As Lucas walked back toward his office, his assistant hurried beside him. Sir, your father has called 3 times this morning. Lucas didn't even slow down. I'm busy. He said it's urgent. Lucas stopped for a moment before replying in a cold voice. I'll call him later. Inside his office, he loosened his tie and stood once again in front of the floor-to-ceiling windows. Rain had started falling over New York. The gray sky made the city look strangely quiet. His eyes drifted to an old silver frame resting on a shelf. It held a faded photograph. A smiling woman stood beside a young boy. The boy couldn't have been older than 8. Lucas reached for the frame. His fingers gently brushed the glass. For the first time that day, his cold expression softened. I still miss you, he whispered. A sudden knock interrupted the silence. William walked in without waiting for permission. I knew I'd find you here. Lucas placed the photograph back exactly where it had been. What do you want? William tossed a set of car keys onto the desk. I've decided to join the company. Lucas looked at him with obvious disbelief. You? Why do you sound surprised? Because you've never worked a full week in your life. William laughed. People change. Lucas folded his arms. No. William sighed dramatically. Fine, maybe I'm bored. Lucas couldn't help shaking his head. You'll quit in 3 days. I'll prove you wrong. Before Lucas could answer, Amelia entered the office carrying a folder. The charity gala is this Saturday. Lucas barely looked at it. I'm not going. You have to. I said no. Amelia placed the invitation on his desk anyway. Every major business family in New York will be there. William picked up the invitation and smiled. The Brown family will attend too. The room instantly became silent. Lucas's eyes slowly lifted. His expression turned colder than ever. For a long moment, no one spoke. Then Lucas looked away and said in a calm but icy voice, Good. Neither William nor Amelia noticed the faint smile that appeared for only a second. It wasn't a smile of happiness. It was the smile of a man who believed fate was finally bringing him closer to something he had waited years to face. Far across the city, someone else was completely unaware that their life was about to change forever. On the other side of New York, surrounded by elegant gardens and towering white gates, stood the magnificent Brown mansion. Unlike the cold, modern style of the Smith family, the Brown mansion felt warm and welcoming. Inside, sunlight streamed through the large windows, filling the halls with a peaceful glow. In one of the upstairs bedrooms, an alarm clock rang loudly. A hand reached out from beneath a soft blanket and turned it off. A few seconds later, Olivia Brown slowly opened her eyes. She stretched lazily before glancing at the calendar hanging on the wall. Final semester. A small smile appeared on her face. "Just a few more months," she whispered. Today wasn't just another day. It was the beginning of her last year at university. After graduation, she hoped to build her own future instead of living under her family's famous name. She walked toward the balcony. The fresh morning air carried the scent of blooming roses from the garden below. For a brief moment, everything felt peaceful. A knock came at the door. "Come in." The door opened, and a housemaid smiled warmly. "Good morning, Miss Olivia. Breakfast is ready. I'll be downstairs in a minute." Olivia changed into a simple but elegant outfit. A white blouse, a black skirt, and a beige Chanel-inspired jacket. She tied her long brown hair into a neat ponytail, picked up her books, and headed downstairs. The dining room was already filled with the aroma of fresh coffee. At the end of the table sat Henry Brown, 29 years old, calm, intelligent, protective. Since the loss of their parents, Henry had become more than an older brother. He had become Olivia's guardian, her closest friend, and the person she trusted most. He looked up from his newspaper and smiled. "Good morning, sleepyhead." Olivia laughed as she took her seat. "I woke up on time." "Barely." She poured herself a cup of coffee. "You've been working all night again, haven't you?" Henry shrugged. "The company doesn't run itself. You should rest and leave my little sister alone in this huge mansion." She rolled her eyes with a smile. "I'm not a little girl anymore." Henry looked at her for a moment before replying softly, "You'll always be my little sister." Olivia smiled without saying anything. She knew he had sacrificed many things after their parents passed away. Everything he did to protect her. A few moments later, Henry checked his watch. "I'll drive you to the university. I can go by myself." "I know. Then why are you insisting?" "Because New York is unpredictable." Olivia sighed dramatically. "You're overprotective." Henry stood and picked up his car keys. "And you're too stubborn." A few minutes later, a black luxury sedan left the Brown mansion and disappeared onto the busy streets of Manhattan. Neither of them noticed another black car parked quietly across the road. Inside it, a man wearing dark sunglasses lowered a camera after taking several photographs of the mansion. He made a short phone call. "They've just left." A deep voice answered from the other end. "Keep watching them." The call ended. The mysterious car slowly pulled away, disappearing into the morning traffic. Somewhere in New York, a plan had already begun, and neither Lucas Smith nor Olivia Brown had any idea that fate was moving them toward the same destination. Henry's black sedan stopped in front of one of New York's most prestigious universities. Henry turned toward Olivia before she stepped out. "Call me when your classes are over." Olivia smiled. "I always do, and don't leave with anyone." She laughed softly. "Henry, I'm 21. I know. You worry too much. I have my reasons." For a brief moment, the smile disappeared from Olivia's face. She reached over and gently squeezed his hand. "I'll be fine," Henry nodded. "I know you will." Olivia stepped out of the car and walked through the university gates. The campus was already crowded with students laughing, talking, and rushing to their morning classes. Many students greeted her with warm smiles. "Good morning, Olivia. Congratulations on your final year." She smiled back politely before heading toward the main building. Meanwhile, across the city, Lucas Smith stood beside a brand new luxury sports car inside Smith Motors' private showroom. Several international investors surrounded him as photographers captured every moment. Lucas spoke with complete confidence. This model isn't just another luxury car. It's the future of the automotive industry. The investors exchanged impressed glances. One of them extended his hand. "Congratulations, Mr. Smith." Lucas shook his hand without changing his expression. "Thank you." Just then, his assistant hurried toward him. "Sir, there's been a last-minute change." Lucas looked at him. "What is it?" "The charity foundation organizing this weekend's gala has added a special guest list." Lucas remained silent. The Brown family has officially confirmed their attendance. For a second, everything around him seemed to disappear. His eyes grew colder. "Prepare my schedule, sir. I'll attend the gala." The assistant looked surprised. "Of course, Mr. Smith." Without another word, Lucas walked away. High above the city, dark clouds slowly gathered. Neither Lucas nor Olivia knew that in only a few days, their paths would finally cross. A single meeting, a single glance, would begin a story that neither of them could ever escape.